Alright guys, so as you can see, I have every single sword in Haze, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you how to get every single sword. Alright, before we begin, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. Alright guys, so I got rid of all of the swords, just so I can show you the process of getting each one much easier. So right here at the Star Island, you just need to come over here, and then this guy can sell you the Katana for 200 with no level requirement or nothing like that. That simple. Alright, next is the Darkblade sword. This is where you buy the Katana, and then just right there. Alright, so basically you're gonna need to defeat Arlong, and the sword has a 10% drop chance. Alright, cool, we got the Darkblade. It took quite a lot of attempts. I definitely killed more than 10 Arlong bosses to get this sword. But yeah, here's a quick showcase. Alright, on to the next sword. Alright, the next sword is the 2 sword style. It's located at level 350, Logtown. Alright guys, so basically, you need to find this guy somewhere in the island, talk to him, and then you need to buy the 2 sword style off him for 100k. Very simple. And here's the showcase. Alright, this is the Z move, cross slash. And now the X move, twister. Alright, if you want to get V2, you're gonna need to defeat the dual swordsman that spawns every hour, and he spawns right here. To get V2, we're gonna need to get the book. Alright, so once you finally get the book, you're gonna need to head straight back to the guy, and then give him it, and then yeah. Alright, so we need to give him 20k, and now we have V2. Alright, now for Bisento, obviously located at Marineford. It's at that pillar right over there. So, buy it for 500k, and then, you know, that's not bad. But I have 9 trillion, so you know what, I really don't know. So yeah, a little summer, it's pretty good. Alright, so in order to get Bisento V2, we're gonna need to come over here and defeat this NPC to get the tremor key, and this has a 5% drop chance. Alright, so once you get the tremor key, you're gonna need to come over here. Alright, so you need to come over here, find this and put the key in, and it spawns in Tremor Girl for a 50% chance to drop Bisento V2. Alright, cool, we got the drop. 3rd try. Okay guys, so if you want the golden staff, you're gonna have to come up to the Sky Island and defeat an L, and it's a 1% drop chance. So yeah, it might take you a while. And here's a quick showcase. Alright, so now it's Shusui, and the NPC is located at Thriller Bark for 5% drop chance. So we're just gonna keep going. As you can see, we got Shusui. Did not take that long at all. Alright, so the first move. Now the second. Alright, now for Soul Cane, which is literally right next to Thriller Bark. Alright, so once you head over to Enma down, you're gonna need to come to this spot and then speak to the skeleton. Yeah, as you can see, for 100k you can buy the soul cane, and then yeah, that's that. Alright, so the Raiu sword is located at the Skull Island, and you're gonna need to come speak to this guy that's located over here, and he's gonna ask you for a scroll in return for the sword. So you're gonna need to come and defeat this NPC, which drops the scroll, which is a 5% drop chance. We have gotten the scroll, and then you need to trade it with him, and then give him 75k, and then you have now obtained Raiu. Nothing crazy, just, you know. Alright, now it's the Fishman Trident. You're gonna need to come over to this spot and then speak to this guy. He's gonna ask you for a fork, and to get the fork, you need to just go directly over right here. And the fork's drop chance is not even that low, it's 50%. The fork, let's go! Alright, so now you need to give him the fork and 50k, and you will now have the Fishman Trident. Guys, would you look at that? Haze, the owner of Haze, in the flesh. Alright, so the next weapon is Operation Blade. It's located in the hot and cold area. Alright, so you're gonna need to come over to this volcano area, and then you're gonna need to find this Magna minion guy right over here. It's not that hard to find, like right here basically. So you're gonna need to talk to him, and you're gonna need to give him 250k and be level 1000 plus, and then he's gonna give you Operation Blade. So we have the Z move, Injection Shot, and the X move, W stun, and then yeah, that's it. Okay, so now we're on to Mace. So we need to be on this island right over here, and we actually need to go and get this lava key that's on the table, and then once you get it, you're gonna need to come to the back of the island and then open a gate. So like literally right over here. So yeah, once you open this, you need to go back over here and then just defeat this guy. And he has a 5% chance to drop the magma off. So yeah, you might have to do this for a while. And then as you can see, we have the lava off. So you're gonna need to put it in here, and it's gonna spawn the Mace boss, which has a 100% drop chance for the Mace. So you know, it's just simple, this and this, nothing crazy, and yeah. Alright, for the CB stamina, You actually have to do quite a bit more steps. So first, we need to go to the Star Island, and we need to buy a collar from her for 1,000. You know, Luxy collar, OG. And then once you do that, we need to go over to the Rocky Islands. I'm pretty sure it's over here. Yeah, Rocky Pillars. And we're gonna need to wait for the mystical wizard to spawn. Alright, the mystical wizard spawns every 1 to 2 hours. And then you're gonna get a notification on the screen once he spawns. So once he spawns, you have to head straight over to here, the pillars, and give him the collar. Alright, so once you give him the collar, the sea beast should spawn. And it's a 50% drop chance, but yeah. Alright, we didn't get a drop the first try. Alright, no drop the second time. So yeah, like, still no drop, so like, statistically, we should have got it by now. There we go, finally obtained the sea beast hammer. For Sea Beast Hammer V2, you're gonna need to come to this second sea, and then you're gonna need to find a Sea Beast. Sea Beasts spawn randomly, like around you. And yeah, for a 3.5% drop chance, good luck with that, guys. It's gonna take you a while. No drop, but yeah, you're gonna have to just keep doing it until you get a drop. Alright, now to obtain the Ace Sword, bro, Ace Sword is like, it's a pretty long process, and especially if you don't get a drop, you're gonna have to do the whole process again, so yeah. So like, as you can see, to get the Ace Sword, you need to head over to Impel Down, and you're gonna need to defeat this guy until he gives you a match. So yeah, just defeat the Warden until you get a match from him. And by the way, the match is a 1% drop chance. And once you have the match, you're gonna need to head over to this island, right over here, and then you're gonna need to come to this location, and then you're gonna need to ignite the campfire. As soon as you ignite it, it's gonna separate some pearls that you're gonna need to collect, but don't worry, like, it literally highlights the pearls, so like, it literally tells you where they are, so you don't even need me to show you where it is, because like, it literally glows. So then yeah, once you collect all of the pearls that's highlighted on your screen, you're gonna need to come over to here. It's right next to the campfire, so don't worry. And then you need to place the pearls into these things. And then once you place all of the pearls, the Ace boss spawns. And the drop chance is 0.1%. So this is ridiculous. So yeah. I don't know why the Ace Sword isn't listed in the drops, but he definitely drops the Ace Sword. Alright, do we get the drop? And we do not get the drop. Alright guys, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because this video took like 67 business days to make. Yo, we got some titles, which probably means we got the sword. Let's check. Oh damn, we actually got it. Let's go. Alright, let's test it out on these monkeys over here. This sword is pretty cool in my opinion. Alright, on to the next sword. Alright, so now on to the Enma sword. So we actually need to head over to the second sea, and right next to it is the Enma boss. he has a 10% chance to drop Enma, and he spawns every hour. Yo, we're gonna drop first try. Let's go. Alright, on to the next sword. Alright, for Darkblade V2, you actually need to come over here. Right here. Then from the spawn point, go down here, stick to the left, and over here, speak to him. So you're gonna have to give him a legendary or a mythical fruit. Since I'm generous, I'm gonna give him the most expensive fruit. Now we need to go defeat either the Enma boss or the 3 sword style boss. I'm gonna go to the Enma boss. Now we've done that, we need to go back and then give him some gems, and then he will be able to spawn the boss. I don't know if this is where the guy spawns, but I spawned him in, but I don't know if this is his spawn location, but yeah, he spawned somewhere in this castle, and then you just need to kill him. Yeah, it's upgraded, just like that. Alright, so we got a Z move and the X move. Pretty good, pretty good. Alright, for Mace V2, you need to come over to here, Dragon Island, and you need to defeat Kaido. And he spawns right over here. With a 1% drop chance though, so it's crazy. Alright, so once you obtain Mace V2, here are the moves. Yeah, and that's it for Mace V2. Alright, now on to the Dark Trident, which you can get at the Dark place, obviously. So we're gonna need to enter the mirror world. And the door boss spawns every 2 hours. So you have to give him 50 gems, and it's a 2-hour cooldown, and yeah. And it's a 10% drop chance, so this might take you hours if you like just don't get it. Alright, nice, we got it. Alright, now it's for the Zenith sword, which is located right over here. So what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to drop down here, and he spawns. He spawns in like when it's like stormy, so yeah. But at least it's a 100% drop chance. Alright, it is now time for the 3 sword style V2, which you get the 3rd seat. So what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to come over to this rock and obviously obtain all 3 of the swords. If you look at the rock, you can see the mastery requirement, and then yeah. And as you can see, you get 3 star style, pretty clean. Alright, so for 3 star style V2, you're gonna need to come speak to Darwin the Forge, which is literally still at the Star Island, and these are the requirements for 3 star style V2. Alright, that is it for 3-star V2. Now it's time to tell you how to get Pole V2, which you just need to come over here, craft it, 2 million. In my opinion, Pole V2, like this sword right here, is like the best sword. Like, look, it's literally like a whole fruit, bro. Alright, but last but not least, the sword you guys have been all waiting for, Gryphon sword. Alright, so the starting point for 3rd sea is over there, and this is where Shanks spawns. So very close to each other. Alright, so this is where he spawns. 2.5% chance for Gryphon. That's pretty low if you ask me. The guy himself, Shanks. I'm joking, stop, it's a joke. Whoa, look at the damage on this guy, bro. The damage, the health. Yeah, you guys get the gist. Oh, this definitely changed. I don't remember it being like this. Thank you guys for watching. This video took forever. Bro, you're ruining my outro, dude. Thank you guys for watching this video. This video took forever. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And goodbye.